Hi, welcome back to another episode of SEO on Air. I'm your host, Aaron, and today we have Scott Pittman, General Manager at Reef Digital. We talk about how to improve your organic search rankings, the importance of content marketing, and how AI is shaping the future of marketing. I hope you enjoyed this episode.
So one basic kind of question is, what is Reef and what do they do exactly? Let's say, what are the special services?
Okay, so Reef is a digital marketing agency. In that respect, they started off when I first came there doing technical SEO and Google SEM, paid search. From there, they over the past 8 years, they've kind of expanded that service mix to include like content marketing, digital PR, paid social media advertising, copywriting, messaging, and email funnels and flows, and just kind of built out the services over the years as sort of client needs and market
Right.
and the agency evolved.
And what would be your role exactly in Reef?
So at Reef, I'm the general manager, so I kind of look after the operations and the team, and also support the running of the business and the growth of the agency with the owners, Chris and Hadrian, and that includes like um, demand generation, the product and service service mix, and how those services are positioned, and the service delivery.
Okay, so I will come to you as a fitness agency gym, I believe, or I'm not too sure there's much of a difference between if there is a fitness agency type thing or if they're just called gyms. But I am one of those people, and I am owning one of them, and I have a website. I've let's say got the most basics of it done. How do I start off with SEO now? What would be, let's say, some of the beginner SEO steps I should take?
Okay, so if you're, let's say you're a fitness center client and you come to us looking to improve your online visibility, generally speaking, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you've got the right technical foundation. So, I mean, you've got the technical SEO audit that you can perform on the site. Make sure it's free from technical errors and ticks all those boxes. But one of the main things is the structure of the website, the information architecture. So you want to make sure that there's pages on the site that match the search, the way that all your target audience are searched, and identify any gaps, and also make sure that those pages match the search intent of the people typing in those keywords as well. So from once you've got all the technical foundation in place and the core structural foundation of the website, then to be honest, unless you're like and this might maybe unpopular opinion to some people, but unless you're like a big enterprise site where you've got like 20,000 plus pages, as long as the site's not changing constantly, like the amount of technical SEO that you need to that's going to move the needle, I don't really need that much, really. Just make sure that it's free from anything that might be holding it back on an ongoing basis. The bulk of the technical is at the start to set it up. And then once that's in place, it comes down to mainly content and links, but not just sort of posting content, generally speaking, and trying to get some links to it. There's a lot more depth to it than that, which we can certainly go into. Um, but yeah, how deep do you want me to go into this?
As this fitness owner, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know how to implement the technical side of what you're talking about. So one question I have would be, do I learn it myself as the CEO owner? Do I hire out an in-house team? Or do I kind of give this to someone like you or me and outsource these problems?
All right, so once you've got your technical foundation in place, and in terms of going about how you do that, you can. There's certain tools that will give you a certain level of depth from it, but you kind of need to know what you're looking at as well, with some of the tools. And I know that like AI is a big developing area this year, and we can get to AI a little bit
We
later. So
probably,
no
yeah.
no no doubt there's going to be some advancements on the technical SEO side when it comes to AI. I'm already seeing a couple of things, but anyway, that to one side. um, I think it's probably best if we kind of zoom out a little bit and talk about like the strategies as a whole, and more so as to what's kind of needed, and what you don't necessarily see too much of out in the wild, and certainly not many people sort of pulling back the curtain on how this is structured. So let me try and explain myself. So we know we need technical with that done, but that's only a small part of it unless you're a big enterprise site, right? The rest of it comes down mainly to content and links. So let's unpack one of these at a time. So when we say content, like what you might see a lot of the time is people just posting like content to the blog around long tail keywords and maybe getting a few links back to that content as well, which might do something, improve a bit of visibility, give you a little bit of ranking for long tail keywords, but it's not what I class as like SEO content strategy or a proper SEO strategy. Let me clarify that. So what that is really blogging rather than a needle moving SEO content strategy. So an SEO content strategy, for it to be really effective, needs to be in line with the customer conversion journey for a start. So it's designed also to target specific long, medium, and in some cases high competition keywords over a period of time. So how do you do this and put it together? So assuming you've got your topic pillars already identified and they're aligned with the brand and audience interests, which that's a whole different topic on its own, so I'm not going to go into that there today. You need to choose the keywords that you want to rank for and design a content structure, and the keyword being structure, to rank for those keywords. So look at the keywords across the whole customer journey, and most people dive straight at the top of the funnel as well with this, but it's quite often better to start near the bottom of the funnel and the more commercially valuable pages first, closer to the point of conversion, assuming that people search, the search volume there. So these could be pages such as variations of the product or service pages, such as like product or service pages relevant to the industry sectors. It could be feature specific pages if people search for specific features to be product. It could be location specific pages. It could be products or product categories for specific uses or audiences or pain points or around jobs to be done. It could also be a couple steps backwards from the point of conversion as well, such as comparisons and alternatives to and case studies and product and service related consideration questions. So once you've got a good foundation of the lower to middle funnel content, you can then start moving into the top of funnel content. So the top of funnel content is going to be a lot broader, and there's going to be a lot more to talk about, and make it relevant to your brand and your brand's point of view to attract more traffic and visibility. Why I'm saying do it in this order is that you'll start attracting the attention of higher intent traffic from the outset, which might lead to some conversions directly, which you'll get more value from your content strategy earlier, or at least indirectly through retargeting or coming back to your site via a different channel at a later stage. What you'll also be doing is building up a good foundation to help increase your topical authority and help your site rank better overall by building out your EAT, experience, expertise, authority, and trust. So when you add in the top of the funnel content, you've then got middle and lower funnel content that you can then start sending people to from the top of the funnel content. So what you're starting to do is create destinations first that there's probably a higher commercial intent and higher commercial value, but then when you start building out more of the top of funnel content, you can start making offers to the people consuming the top of funnel content to start driving them further through the customer journey towards more the middle and bottom of funnel content, and ideally to the point of conversion. So that's mapping the content strategy to the customer journey. But when you're choosing the keywords for the content at each of these stages, there's a couple of things to take into account there as well. The first thing being the domain authority of your website versus the keyword difficulty. And one thing is as well, you want to check not just the keyword difficulty, because that can be misleading, but the domain authority of the ranking sites that are on the first page for that keyword as well. What you want to be doing is choosing keywords that your current domain authority can realistically compete for, that there's other sites with comparable domain authority for those keywords. When I say comparable, maybe within like about 20 that are ranking on the first page, that you can with content that you can beat. And you can check the domain authority on various tools. You've got like RFs, which is a key one. You've got Moz, SEMrush. They all have their own little metrics. Just use the same tool, so it's consistency of data. But also look at the intent of the keyword as well. So make sure to match the content that you're going to create to try and beat and rank for these terms with the intent. Because if you get the intent wrong, you're going to really struggle. So if it's a commercial intent, quite often the copy's shorter, it's less informational, it's more persuasive, versus an informational intent where it might be a long form piece of content that covers the topic in full. So when you've got all your keywords and you've identified your list of keywords to target that you think you can compete for at the current level that you're at for each stage of the customer journey, then you want to review your keywords and design the content structure that you need to rank for your first keyword cluster that you're going to go after. Right. So when I say content structure, let's unpack that a little bit. So you've got your main target keyword of this first cluster of keywords that you're going to go after. You've got your main target keyword that will be the sort of most competitive one, and you want to create your main piece of ranking content for that keyword. But then what you want to do is, based on the data that you've collected from your research previously, you want to build out your content structure with supporting content that internally links to your main piece of content, because that will start building out this kind of structure of supporting content around the main piece. Is going to build out your topical authority in this area, but it's also going to pass authority back to the main piece through the internal links. Then you need to identify what links you need to build, external links that you need to build to this structure that you're building, and how many you think you need to build in order to rank for these keywords. So as you start doing this, map it out all at the start, like build your structure before you even start publishing content, because then what you can do is map out the assets that you need and put it on the timeline, say throughout the quarter. It's like a quarterly content campaign. So now we're getting a lot more strategic with it. We're going after these keywords. This is the structure that we think we need based on data to rank for it. And here's all the assets. So we can build a plan around it. As you start doing it and you start seeing the data come in, then you'll kind of get a feel for how well it's working. If you want to keep going after it and you need more, just keep building out the structure with more content and more links to that structure until it starts to rank. I mean, obviously there's content optimizations and some tweaks that you can do, but generally speaking, if you execute this well, you should see some really good results and really good visibility gains for these structures that you're building. What you should also see is that your domain authority is now going to start getting stronger, meaning that you can move on to your next SEO content hub, which is essentially these structures that we're building to target higher competition keywords, and at the same time that you should see visibility increases across the whole of your site, because you're building out this topical authority, you're building deep links to the site, you're building structured content in around the topic pillars that are relevant to your brand and your market. So that brings us on to links. We know that we need to get links to the pages within the content structure that we're building in order to lift it up and rank for the terms and increase your domain authority and your reach and all the rest of it. So the way that we do that, there's a couple different ways when it comes to building links to this content structure. I'm not going to mention things like help a reporter out and sort of newsjacking, things like that, because those links are generally to the home page. And what we're trying to get here is links to our our specific pages on our content hub, our main pillar piece that we're trying to rank, but also all the supporting pieces as well, so that we're building out this nice deep linking structure to it. So you can guest author on other sites, and that'll help build up your reach as well in the process. Tried and true method, still working well when done correctly. Can create content that gets a lot of social media attention, not for the social shares themselves as such, but that you quite often see when content starts getting a lot of traction on social, it quite often gets picked up by journalists and media outlets, which can create some
Right.
good links to your content too. You can create content and pitch the story to journalists, such as, say, research that you've carried out using your own data, or if you've curated data from lots of different sources and packaged it up into a good story angle. If you can visually display that data, say if there's a geo element to it and you can display it like nicely on a map or segmented, that can help it get picked up too. If you look at kind of the topical things that the relevant media that you're going to go after, if you're creating a specific link-based digital PR piece of content, look at what they're covering and what they can start picking up, and use that to inform the angle that you take when creating a data-driven piece. So I guess to summarize, because I've unpacked quite a bit there with that, if we can break it down into a few steps, what you'd be doing essentially is, when you've got your technical foundation in place and the right structure in place, keep an eye on that and address any high impact, high priority things that might impact you on an ongoing basis. But other than that, decide on your topic pillars for your content strategy, map the content strategy to the customer conversion journey, choose the target keywords based on data and what you can compete for now and in sort of next and more long term. Build out middle to lower funnel content foundation first, where applicable, if you've not already got that. Design an SEO content structure that you think is needed to rank for the first cluster of keywords as part of your full customer journey content strategy. Bring in the top of the funnel content, drive top of funnel visitors to middle and lower funnel content, and then bring in link-based content or link-based activities to really get the performance out of what it is that you're building. And then keep building things out and growing your domain authority, traffic, brand awareness, in doing so, as well as at the same time growing customers is the ideal. Ideal as well, bonus, splinter the content that you're creating, like sort of break it up into micro content and spread that and share that across social media, and that will help. That it all sort of ties in together. And if you can create video content to go with it too, that's something that can really help the pages to rank, especially if there's videos ranking for that term on the first page as well. And what we're probably going to start to see with the search generative experience, and being in Australia, we've not got it yet in our Google, so I'm yet to play with it. But there's going to be an increased integration, I think, with YouTube and video content, and then you've got the perspectives tabs and other stuff that it's going to be pulling in. But we can get to that a little bit later, I guess.
And I think also technically, if you consistently keep that progress going, you will see SEO results for like the entire year technically, unless there's an algorithm update and you're messed up that way. But when it comes to, let's say, PPC, right? Can you maybe give me the exact same breakdown and how I can start off my PPC campaign?
Probably I'll answer the PPC question probably a little bit differently well, very differently to how I've answered the SEO. So when we're talking about like high impact PPC, the highest impact element with this, my experience, isn't faffing around with the keywords or the features of the platform. The platforms are they're so much better at finding the people and the algorithms nowadays. It's more down to, or when you see campaigns that are performing really well, it's quite often down to having a really strong offer that's communicated really well and clearly and persuasively on a really well designed landing page. And then the ads frame that offer really well. And the landing page delivers on what the ads promise. And there's a strong scent between the ad and the landing page, so that when people click through the ad's eye-catching, it grabs the attention, it it speaks to either the pain point, desire, whatever angle it's taking. Person clicks through, they get to the landing page. The landing page feels familiar to the ad, and it delivers on the promise and that the ad makes, basically. To me, that is the highest needle moving area when it comes to PPC, regardless of whether that's social, search, whatever the channel.
Okay, so if we had to, let's say, start a PPC campaign for this fitness studio, where we've already sorted out the SEO side of things, we kind of understand what keywords would work best for me and what are the competition on the lower ones. If I had to start off my PPC campaign that way, what would you tell me are my, let's say, key elements or important areas I should look out for?
So first of all, again, it'd go back to your goals, what you're trying to achieve. So if you think of the audience behavior of fitness studios, fitness like gyms, it can be a little bit different to, say, like other more transactional
Right.
or lead gen sites. The reason I say that is a lot of people might see the ads for the gym, and they may engage and click and like have a look at the website and that kind of thing, but then they may be in a contract, for example, with the current gym and just waiting to come out of it before they move. So that's one thing. The buyer's journey can potentially be longer than what you'd expect it to be, even for like low price gyms. The other thing is they might click and go to the website, but they might not convert there and then. They may then say, oh, you know what, that looks decent, looks a good gym. There's one of them, because a biggest motivating factor is where it's located,
Right.
to the convenience, whether it's on the commute, whether it's near the house, and accessibility. So they might not even do anything online, apart
Right.
from just click and engage, but then say, you know, I'm just going to turn up on the way home from work, or after work, even work from home on Wednesday, I'll nip in and I'll have a look at it and see. So what we've found, and I have worked with fitness clients in this kind of situation as well. And what you sometimes find is that even if there are transactional things that you can do on the website, like free passes and that kind of thing, um, quite often there's a strong correlation between the reach and awareness of the audience and the number of people who turn up in the clubs to actually sign up there. Now, there is going to, of course, be data gaps in there. You can't completely marry all those steps up, so you've got
Right.
to go back to correlation for some of it and run experiments and tests. So when I say experiments and tests, it's like, okay, what if we turn this channel down and increase this channel? And for example, we focus a bit more on driving these conversions at the expense of reach and awareness. Like what kind of effect does that have on the footfall coming through the doors, and try and marry some of those things up to draw conclusions from.
But let's take the gym fitness center as our example. What would you say would be the best channel for it? Should it focus more on social? Focus more on PPC? Should it focus more on organic? A mix of both would
Um,
obviously be good, but should it be more of one or the other? Or
I'd still start with the highest intent stuff, because with fitness, a lot of people will still just go to Google and start searching for like fitness centers near me, because they might be aware of, say, one or two, but if I'm looking to change gyms, for example, I might have a look at the locations on a map and pull it up on Google, and okay, what other ones are around? Are they near my house? Are they near my work? Are they near, and start mapping that out. So then I'll start becoming aware and clicking through search results. So we're still on search here, whether it's paid or organic,
right.
for different for the different gyms that way. So I'll probably look at starting, depending on the goals, of course, but the higher intent area, if the market's addressable, and the cost works out to the commercials, then it's probably a good place where you'd start.
Where all in this does AI play a role? AI
Okay.
specifically ChatGPT, but then other roles where AI can probably fit in terms of the SEO side and the PPC. Um, that's pretty much that was going to be the next question. Do you want me
All
to
right.
ask that now, or
Yeah, I'll just wrap up that final bit then. So I guess, yeah, to kind of wrap it up, what I'm sort of saying is, your the content strategy is all one. You've got your top of funnel brand stories and brand storytelling in there as well. You've got your SEO structure and strategy in at the same time. You've mapped it all to the different stages of the customer journey. You've got offers to move people through each stage of the customer journey. The offer temperature should match the stage of the content. So every piece of content that you create should be related to an offer. The temperature of that offer should match the temperature of the audience of the piece of content that offers there. So if it's a very top of funnel piece of entertaining brand storytelling, for example, the offer that you're going to make to that audience is probably not going to be to buy a high ticket item or sign up to some huge enterprise software. It's going to be to take the next logical step. So that could be to view or download a specific video or a white paper or a case study, or just move them further along in that journey. So if we've got all that there and all that going, you're going to be building your brand, you're going to be building your SEO, you're going to be bringing people into the customer journey, at all different points, making them aware of your brand, while at the same time building that engagement, building that trust, getting third-party validation from your link building activities as well. And if all that works together, then should be onto a winner, really.
I think in everything that we have spoken about in this call, there is some place or the other where AI can be included. So you can break it down by category, like SEO, how AI can be included, PPC, how it can be included, or you can just give me an all-encompassing, this is what AI can do.
So I guess first, when it comes to AI, it is very early days. It doesn't feel like it. The speed it's moving is just like insane. But it's very early days. We're yet to see like the full effects of this.
Right.
So I am playing around with it, as most people, and trying to push the boundaries, seeing what we can do. I guess from like a bigger picture perspective, it's pretty clear that content copywriting and creative is massively disrupted with this technology. It can 10x your productivity, but you need to know how to you need to understand those disciplines in order to get the most from AI. You can't just sort of come in, jump on AI. I mean, yeah, it'll get you to some sort of level, but if you want to get the most from it and get some really good work with that, the AI tools sort of handling a lot of the legwork, if you like, you've got to be an experienced marketer to be able to run it and prompt it and guide it to what you want to do. But for sure, it's going to get disrupted. And there's, like we touched on before, there's the Google search generative experience as well. Now with that, because these two things are kind of related, there's clearly going to be like everyone's going to be publishing AI content, right? And then you're going to have this search generative, and look, it might work wonders right now at the moment, but I'd expect Google to get a lot smarter on this. So when you get this search generative experience, the websites are still there underneath it, and as people use it, it's going to provide a jumping off point with I think there's like 3 links. But I mean, I've not actually used it yet. I'm just kind of going off what I've seen of it. There's going to be like 3 kind of links for each of its response. Yeah, sort of thing. It's actually been using AI for the current featured snippets way before SGE, so it's kind of extending that. But anyway, so there's going to be jumping off points for the user to go and explore and visit websites. So optimization to get into the SGE box is potentially like a new area. Google have said specifically in their guidelines that they are committed to still sending traffic to sites. And that kind of makes sense as well, because if people are disincentivized to like stop creating content, then their AI needs fresh content in order to keep producing really good results. So it makes sense that Google is going to still want to be sending traffic and giving people the incentives to create content. It's just how I'm seeing it anyway. What is interesting is the emergence of what's going to differentiate good content versus like all the generic stuff. I think we can all agree like the generic 5 ways to increase your productivity, that kind of stuff's going to be dead, right? And people are just going to get easy information from the AI tool. What you can see in it, from what I believe, there's going to be like some sort of perspectives tab, which is going to pull in from all sorts of different areas within the SGE box. And that kind of ties into as well with experience, this new E in EAT, experience, expertise, authority, trust. The experience bit is, rather than talking generally about a topic, it's adding in how you, the creator of the content, have personal experience with that. So instead of like, I visited, or when you visit this destination, these are some good places. It's like, okay, so when I was there, we found this cool little place on the corner, and you've got that nuance of personal experience. And likewise from like a how-to article, it would be, rather than just telling people how to do something, you could spin that to play to your experience with, here's how we or this person has done this, and show them from a personal experience perspective how to do it, rather than just sort of say how to do it with a set of instructions, what the AI can do. Because when you're talking from personal experience, you're going to have those nuanced perspectives that a generic AI might, couldn't potentially really come up with, and that's going to add to the uniqueness of it. And when you factor in video to that as well, I know AI can create videos and speak and all that kind of stuff, but when you've got the human creator, or at least a representative from the brand that you're working with on video, talking about the topic, and you embed that in the content as well, with some sort of quotes and perspectives, and you build all this into the content, then what you've got is someone with experience as the author, whether or not they've actually created it, whether it's been created on their behalf, doesn't matter. Someone who's put their name to that content, who's got experience in the topic, but also speaking and adding to the content their personal experience and nuanced opinions and perspectives, which the AI won't be able to replicate that. Say won't. Careful what I say about it. Whether
Because a
will and
week
won't be able to
later,
do.
it's replicating our whole
Yeah,
lives.
I know, yeah. But so it's going to be a lot more difficult, and it's going to make that content a lot more unique and valuable. So this is how, and with the video as well, that's going to have chance to pull into another touch point, and chance for it to pull into the SGE box. And likewise, if you're splintering your content and pushing it out on the different social channels, you've got more of an opportunity to be pulled in and as like a source and used from the AI.
Where we don't really know what's going to happen, or how far Google is going to take AI with its own capabilities, and how generative AI in general is going to end up. Where do you see SEO changing? Will there be now, let's say, as they have SEO for websites, will there be SEO for generative experiences?
Quite possibly. There's another big trend that shift I'm actually seeing as well, that's a lot less being talked about, and that's the emergence of social media search. So TikTok's got this in it anyway, right? So you can search in TikTok and it'll start coming up with a suggested search, and then it'll start suggesting videos that match your search. And then TikTok's bringing out that Lemonade, that's got the same functionality. And now if you notice with platforms like Instagram, it's got like, when you search for something, it's got the For You, it brings up the For You tab, and it's trying to match up content from the social platform based on the keyword that you're typing in. So if you're talking about that keyword in your social media content, and you're including the keyword in the caption, then you've got more chance of showing up for the keywords that people type in on these social platforms. So what we're starting to get into now is social search optimization, I guess, like SSO, or however you want to label it. It's yet to be labeled, I think. But I think this is going to be a big area moving forward, possibly bigger than optimizing for the SGE, because the SGE is going to be pulling from data from sort of certain social platforms, I think, as well. Certainly YouTube, anyway.
Thanks for the chat, Scott. It's been great.
Great, yeah. Thanks for having me. Enjoyed the chat.
Thanks for watching that episode. I hope you enjoyed. For more videos like this, make sure you like and subscribe.